Our guest speaker this evening is Delegate John McGuire. Delegate McGuire was born and raised in Henrico County, where he graduated from Henrico High School. After graduation, he served in the U.S. Navy as a Navy SEAL. Upon returning to Henrico, he founded SEAL Team PT, Incorporated. His fitness company helps train Division I athletes and corporations across the world. He is passionate about teamwork and using those skills throughout all facets of life. Delegate McGuire.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Hey, before we get started, there are many ways to serve, and I'm just curious if we have any military, any veterans, any law enforcement or first responders in the audience. Can you guys stand up just for a second so we can see who you guys are? Let's give those guys. I don't think we can say it enough. Thank you for keeping us safe. But as you know, there are many ways to serve. And I also want to thank the parents in the audience again, and our elected officials and teachers and staff for helping prepare our young people for life. Let's give them another round of applause. Congratulations to those completing your training today. I want you to remember where you came from. Nothing great has ever been done alone, and my whole life has been about teamwork and leadership. You know, life is tough. You're going to face adversity, but life is still awesome. And you should all know when you fall down in life, what do? Whenever I'm mentoring a young person or even a not so young person, what I tell them is don't let the world put limits on you and don't put limits on yourself. We can all do more than we think, especially when we believe in ourselves and we work as a team. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and that it might inspire you to improve or have a better life or a better story yourself. When I was 5 years old, my mother abandoned me. I ended up in foster homes and attended 9 different elementary schools. And I probably shouldn't joke about it, but it's debatable I turned out okay. But the point is you decide where you go, not somebody else. But I'll tell you, you're not alone, and you can do much more as a team. My grandfather, who fought in World War II, rescued me from foster homes, and I ended up graduating Henrico High School. I remember people saying there was a group of guys, you have a better chance becoming President of the United States than becoming a Navy SEAL. Back then they had a movie called Top Gun, and I said, no, I'd rather fly airplanes. But I heard about SEALs, and they said, toughest men alive, you got a better chance of being president, and oh, by the way, you're too small. Again, someone trying to tell me, when someone tells me I can't do something, what it really means to me is, oh, maybe you can't do it. And I want you guys to think of that, because one of the most valuable things you can give your children is confidence and belief in themselves. Typically 200 men per SEAL class, usually 20 graduate. One class graduated 0 out of 200. Does anybody understand why 0 out of 200 graduated? I'll tell you, it's because we have a set of standards. But I will tell you this, if any woman with 2 arms and 2 legs can do it, so can you. The only thing that's going to stop you from getting your dreams is you. You guys need to set goals and put that goal above your head like a North Star. And every day you open your locker or you look at your keychain where you might put your goals, if you see your goals 3-4 times a day and you mean it, because you know some people say they want to win and some people mean it. But if you mean it, you will make decisions that will get you closer to your goal, not further from your goal. So I get through Navy SEAL training, and the guy who was too small, I became the youngest sniper in Navy SEAL history. And listen up, that doesn't make me better than anyone. I can tell you about some men and women in uniform that have done way more than me. And I can even tell you about some young men and women who never went in the military. But again, remember what I said, there are many ways to serve. I got out of the Navy, started a business called SEAL Team PT. We had 5 people in the first class. My SEAL brothers and family and friends said, it'll never work. And now it's the largest outdoor fitness class in the world. And in the last 6 months, we trained leadership at Amazon and professors at MIT on leadership. Not bad for Henrico High School. But I got to tell you this story. About a year ago, my youngest son, I was so inspired. He's about to go into his second year at the University of Kentucky. And by the way, I don't know if this will be funny, but we have 5 children. My wife and I have 5 beautiful children. And she says I'm number 6. But you guys, when we say you're our future, you really are, and you're the best part of life. And it really is an honor and a privilege to be here. But when he graduated, I was so inspired, and my oldest son went into the United States Navy, and he's been doing scuba dive and explosive training. I must not have scared him enough. And I'm just so inspired as him. So I was looking for a way to serve again. And part of being a leader and part of service is sacrifice. And I decided to run for office. And my SEAL brothers said, have you lost your mind? Politicians just bigger and argue, and they never get anything done. But I'm here to tell you that if you can bring people together, because I think a good leader brings people together. We talked about teamwork. Again, it's not what you look like, it's what you fight like. And I had a Navy SEAL once tell me, I'd rather have 5 people with a good attitude that want to be here than 50 people on the team that don't have a good attitude and don't want to be here. Does that make sense? So as you guys become leaders in society, your people are your most important investment. Anyway, I decided to run for office, and they said, again, trying to put limits on me, they said, you have no experience, you don't know what you're doing. And we had one of the largest wins in Virginia in November because we brought people together. You know, I think if we focus on our differences, we fail. But if we focus on what makes us strong, we win. And we've got some things done, they said in the General Assembly couldn't be done in 15 years. But we, not me, got it done. So as an elected official, a few months ago, I was at Hermitage High School, and I got to tell you this story. I was standing around 4 or 5 teachers, and I was telling a story back in high school. There was this one particular teacher who looked like one of us. He was one of the youngest teachers in Henrico County, at Henrico High School. He looked like a student. And he taught me to take a piece of plexiglass board covered in copper and put electrical tape in it and dip it in etchant acid and pull it out and make your own circuit board and solder in transistors, resistors, capacitors, and tune your AM radio from scratch. And I'm telling this story, and then I went off to become a Navy SEAL, and that ability from Henrico High School, and similar to what you guys are learning in your professions, helped me be one of the best with what I had to do in the military. In fact, in some of our electronics training, they would give me something called an academic week off. That means I got a week off because the class had to catch up with my knowledge in electronics. And I got to tell you about it. So I was standing around 6 or so teachers, and I was telling this story, and I said the teacher's name was Mr. Mac Baton, and he doesn't look so young anymore. But he goes like this. He goes, I'm right here. So come on up here, sir. Where are you, Mr.? Is Mr. Mac Baton? Come on up here, sir. Let's give this gentleman a round of applause. I'm sure he's had an impact on you guys being the director of CTE, but I got to tell you, it is. Don't forget the folks that got you here, and don't forget what it took to get you here. That same thing will help you be successful in life. Remember, if you fall down, what do? And you got to keep it positive. In the Navy SEALs, we say something hoo-yah, because we know that someone with a negative attitude will bring down the team. So let's try that. Everybody say who. Everybody say yah. Everybody say hoo-yah. And that should remind you to keep it positive. Life is tough, but it's still awesome. And when you fall down, what do? I can't wait to hear about how you are making the world better. Thank you for having me here tonight.